Welcome to NoOffice, a podcast about work, technology, and life from a remote company perspective. In Nozbe, we believe that work is not a place to go. It is a thing that you do. That is why since 2007, we run our company 100% remotely. In Nozbe, there is no office. The NoOffice podcast is sponsored by Nozbe Teams, a to-do app that helps modern teams do great things. Go to nozbe.com to learn more.
Don't cram 20 people on Zoom.
Fluorescent lighted office all day long. You probably are going to work from home.
Hello and welcome
Hi.
to episode number 29 of NoOffice, a podcast about work, technology, and life from a remote company perspective. I'm Rafał Sobolewski, and today Michael is on vacation, so I have a great pleasure to have on the show in this episode our wonderful customer success agent, Emilia. How are you, Emilia?
Hi, thanks for inviting me today to join you. Yeah, I'm good.
Yes.
And you?
Yeah, I'm really good. That's very risky episode because I think we both are on mobile data internet right now.
Yeah.
But hopefully it will work fine. In case of troubles, we will turn off
Sure.
video to let have only audio. But let's hope everything works okay. We have Magda
Sure.
on the backstage, and so she can also join maybe. if there are some troubles, we will see. Okay, so I invited you to this episode to talk about working from two different countries because I think you are very connected also to this country Taiwan in Asia.
Right.
Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so actually the first time I flew to Taiwan was in 2013. I was still a student at that time. So at that time, my main goal was just to improve my Mandarin language. But it happened that I met my husband there. So he's Taiwanese. So Taiwan just became a part of my life from that time on. But after a year, I came back to Poland. And it happened that at that time I was thinking about looking for a full-time job, and I found Nozbe. So for sure, at that time for me it was kind of appealing that Nozbe has no office, because it was surprising, of course, back then, because I've never heard about any company without office. But I thought that that's a positive surprise, actually, because in this case, I could go back to Taiwan almost anytime I want. So, yeah, and I'm still here in Nozbe. It's been 6 years already.
Yeah, that is true. Like I remember you worked from Taiwan like many months in the year, and because of that you missed some Nozbe reunions.
That's right.
It was hard to travel even back then for you.
Yes, because I had been living in Taiwan for 6 years. So coming back and then coming back to Poland every 2 or 3 months. But because Taiwan is very far away from Poland and plane tickets are not that cheap, so it was not possible for me to just come back anytime I want. But then in 2019, we moved back to Poland because my husband also started working from home. Not because of the pandemic. It was before the pandemic.
It was before,
because it was in December, and then it started in February next year. So yeah, before the pandemic, he started working from home. Now we mostly stay in Poland and go back to Taiwan for 2 or 3 months every year just to meet with our family. Like we are going back to Taiwan in January again for 3 months.
Yeah. The weather probably is much nicer there in January.
Actually, that's hard to say because in Poland, when it's winter, you feel warm inside because like you have these pipes with hot water, and so it's not a problem if outside is cold. It's still warm inside. But in Taiwan, it's cold everywhere. So
Okay.
in January it will be cold everywhere, inside and outside. Yeah,
But
it's
and on outside is that the same cold as in Poland, or it's like
I guess it will be around 10 to 15 degrees. Yeah. So
Celsius
for
degrees?
us, it will be okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So outside is much warmer, but yeah, because of that inside. Yeah. That's.
But I still
that's
prefer this weather than summer, because during the summer in Taiwan, it's really hot, and inside it's really cold because of the aircon. Yeah.
Yes. That is true, and we usually don't have air conditioner in Poland during summer. But sometimes I wish we had. But yeah. So okay. So speaking of those quality of life differences, are there any more that what are the like the aspects of living in Taiwan that you like better than the ones we have in Europe?
Taiwan
Like
is
from
for
perspective
sure.
of working remotely, of course.
Yeah, sure. From working remotely, and like I think because in Poland I live in a countryside, so for me it's also like a really different environment. I mean, if I lived in city, maybe it would be different, but I live in countryside, so this shock is much bigger. I mean, from a city like Taipei where we live, and it's really crowded, busy, and noisy, to the countryside here in Poland, it's really big difference. But for sure, Taiwan is much more convenient than Poland. Yeah, like it there. I think one of the, like you mentioned, like working from home. I think the biggest difference is that in Poland I must cook at home, and in Taiwan they used to just eat every meal outside. So it doesn't matter if it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You can eat outside, and it won't be too expensive. So that's very convenient. Like I don't need to spend time cooking. We just go out with my husband, have something delicious to eat, and then go back to work.
Yeah, and maybe the reason is that Taipei is so crowded that apartments are very small and there is no place for a proper kitchen.
Yeah, I think like I can say like in all flats in Taipei, but in Taiwan, but in really many flats that I've been in, there are no like real kitchens, like the kitchens that we think of when we are in Poland. Usually, they don't have a cook, and yeah, it's very limited because I mean you can go outside and eat something not too much not too expensive, right? It's really cheap to eat outside, and then you don't have to spend time cooking and cleaning. So yeah, I guess that's the reason.
Yeah, and what about, for example, air pollution? Because we have a big problem here in Poland in winter, especially. But I imagine that like Taipei, as it is crowded city, that probably like traffic is huge, and also it also adds some pollution to the air.
Yeah, for sure, air pollution is an issue. Actually, we have in our apartment we have this air cleaner. But I would say that even bigger issue is noise pollution, at least for me.
Yeah.
That's one. In Taipei, yeah, for me it's even bigger issue than air pollution. Yeah.
Yeah, like I can imagine. I recently noticed that for myself, like in recent couple of years, that noise is something that annoys me more and more. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm a high sensitive person, so for me, this noise is really something that I cannot stand. And there is some funny thing because in Taipei, where we live, there are garbage trucks that play melodies loudly. I mean, because
I heard
here,
that.
here you like trucks. They does not just come to pick your garbage. You must take your own garbage and go outside to to throw it to this truck. So when you hear the melody, it means that it's coming, it's approaching. So sometimes when we have meeting and the garbage truck is approaching,
Yeah.
I must turn off the microphone. So yeah, that one is disturbing, but well, it's just coming once or twice every day. So that's not that bad.
Okay, so what are differences between your home office setup here in Poland and in Taiwan?
Okay, so as I mentioned, in Poland, I live in, let's call it countryside. So it's not like typical countryside, but still there is a forest nearby and it's really calm and green there. So also we have a quite big room. Actually, we can work in one room and sleep in another. So that's the biggest difference probably. And the room in where we are working, where we work, is really big. So that's also good to have a space, right? And we have one desk because we work together in the same room, and just put two computers on it in different directions, so we don't see
Yeah,
what
I will show it right
working.
now.
Oh yeah, that's
Yes.
that's it. Yeah. So we usually work like this. But in Taiwan, because we live in a city, and of course flats there are generally smaller, so we just have one room where we sleep and when we work. It's cozy, but it's for sure smaller than the one we have in Poland.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference. But we also like in both Poland and Taiwan, we work in the same room.
Yeah, so that's interesting topic, working together with your spouse for the whole day, and then
That's right. That's right. We just yes, I was thinking about it before our podcast, and we just started working in one room in 2019, and it's been already over 700 days, like day to day, working together in the same room. Yeah, that's right.
yeah, and that's worth mentioning that because your husband like is in charge of your YouTube channel and Facebook fan page, which is very successful actually. So yeah, and so you are also involved in this in this project, yeah.
Yeah. So actually, he used to work in a normal company, I mean, in the office before, and then when we started developing our own social media, he quit his job and in 2019 started working from home, but not for a company, just for himself.
Yeah.
And sure, I also like do some stuff there, but it's mostly him. But we can say like we not only work in the same room, but also after my work, we also work together on some our projects. So, but it's still going okay. I mean, yeah, not that bad. Yeah, I know that some people they get along well in life, right? But not in office, and that's absolutely all right. I mean, there's no issue with that. Yeah, but I think quite many people ask me, how is it possible that we can work together in one room and also like work together on some projects? So, but there is
that's such a huge combo, I would say, and what is your secret? How you don't get tired of each other?
Well, for us, it has never been an issue. We've been working in one room for around 2 years now, and I can't really complain. I think even if we can work in separate rooms, like in Poland, we don't find it necessary. And how to say, like, I don't know, but maybe it's because we have we both are like people who like to be focused, who like silence. So maybe that's because also because of, like, when there are two people who like to be focused in one room, it makes the atmosphere more focused, if you know what I mean.
The
I
synergy.
I even noticed that if I work alone in one room, before when we were in quarantine, I had to work alone in one room, and I was less focused than when I work with him in one room. That's interesting, but it is how it is. Yeah.
And what about like? I can imagine that it works for you because in Nozbe we don't have many meetings. And when you are in the meeting, it can be disturbing for other person.
Yeah, maybe that's right. But as you mentioned, like, how many meetings do we have? Like, for me, it's 2 meetings every week, so it's not an issue. Yeah, but
And
of course,
during this meeting, your husband is still working in front of you, or he takes a break?
Good question. Like, usually my meeting on Tuesday is in the morning, so I think he's still working on his stuff. But on Mondays we have meeting in the afternoon, so usually he's busy with other stuff. I don't know, go running, jogging or something. Yeah. So it depends.
Well,
but
good for him.
yeah, sure. But of course, there are sometimes, like, I want to show something or ask about his opinion. But when we are busy, it's like usually we say like, "Oh, please give me like 30 minutes," or "Wait a moment, not now." And it's also like we must accept it, right? Like that somebody is busy with other things. Otherwise, it won't make any sense. Just we need to be respectful about the interruptions. Yeah, but maybe that would be most disturbing for me, if like talking too much. It's like you have this flow at the time when you feel focused, like the deep work time.
Yes.
Like, we call it in Nozbe, right? Deep work time. And then somebody is talking. It is really, really disturbing. So
and maybe your husband is more accustomed to this because he lived the whole life in Taiwan, with which you mentioned as there are many loud sounds and sound pollution.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, but that's maybe the reason why we can work every day in the same room.
Do you use headphones with active noise cancellation, or?
No, I don't have it. I never thought about it, actually. And we also have the same daily routine. I heard that some people, like, when the pandemic happened, right, many people were forced to work from home. So I've heard that some people were like, they had this daily routine and it was different than their husband's or wife's routine, and that was kind of issue. But we also have the same routine, like exactly the same. We both wake up early and start working at almost the same time, and even have lunch at the same time. So
I think routine is crucial for working from home when you need to be organized by yourself. To have this routine. And I notice if my routine is broken, I'm not productive as usual. Okay, so what I wanted to mention about your setup, I will display the photo one more time and put it as artwork in a chapter for audio version. What I like about it, that even though you don't use external monitor, you just use your laptop.
Actually, the laptop is my husband. I use the monitor behind, like. on the
Okay.
right. Right.
Okay, but it's still you elevate it to the eye
Yeah,
level
with
those
books.
books,
Yeah.
and I as we can see on the picture, you have also those ergonomic chairs to have
Yeah.
these cushions on the lower back, and even on Nozbe Reunion, I remember you put your laptop
That's right.
on something on some
Yeah,
books
because
or on
I
some
used
box, right?
to put it on just like most of the people, just on the table. But then I had some neck issues,
Yeah.
and it was because of like when you work long time with your head down, it's like it may really cause some neck issues. So when I started putting it higher, all
Yes.
neck issues disappeared. Mm.
Yeah, and actually, now I'm visiting my family place, and I have only iPad with my main computer right now. So I have this like similar setup that I decided to bring with me those holder for iPad to elevate it to the eye level. And after working it like second day with this setup, I must say it's much superior than working with Magic Keyboard and looking down like so.
Yeah, for me it was like a big change. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, so that's really important, especially for working from home, to have this ergonomic setup. Even if you don't have all the specific tools, you can use books or boxes to elevate your screen. It's a
Sure,
really nice
that's
trick.
not a problem, right?
Yeah. Okay, you mentioned about the routine, and I think we will talk about it more after the break. But now let's take a short break.
Okay.
NoOffice podcast is sponsored by Nozbe Teams, a to-do app that helps small teams do great things.
So here's a stressful image. Yep. See, at Nozbe we know a thing or two about productivity. Trust us, this is our boss. So here's how we do it instead. Nozbe Teams allows you to communicate through tasks, and that's the future. Helping your team get organized and getting their project to the finish line. Just create a project and give it a name, then add some tasks, assign them to your team members, and that's it. All you need to know can be easily accessed and nicely sorted in your incoming view. Communication can be done through comments in a task, just like in a chat, keeping it clean and simple. Track your projects and get more done with Nozbe Teams. In the end, just tick it off. Now that feels good. Nozbe Teams helps your business succeed where so many have failed by making communication and task management throughout your teams as easy as it gets. Sign up for a free account at nozbe.com and change your business today.
Yes, and that was our sponsor. And if you sign up directly for our NoOffice.fm website, there is a sign up button on the website for Nozbe Teams. Once you will be ready to upgrade to Nozbe Premium for a year account, you will get the 3 months for free. So if you want to try Nozbe Teams, make sure to sign up directly from NoOffice.fm website. And let's go back to our topics. So you mentioned that your daily routine like starts at 6 a.m. and you end work around 3 p.m. But
That's in Poland.
yeah, that's in Poland, exactly. So and how this routine changes in Taiwan?
Oh, okay. So let's start with the fact that I'm not the only one in Nozbe who's working not in Poland, who is working
Yes.
in other country, right? Maybe I think I'm the only one based outside of Europe. I mean, both Europe and East
Outside
Asia.
of our time zone.
Yeah. So yeah, my time difference is just a bit bigger.
How many hours exactly?
But now in winter it's 7 hours, so that's a lot. And in summer time we have 6 hours difference.
Because in Taiwan there's no this daylight saving time BS.
No need to. Yeah, but in Poland we have it, so it's either 6 or 7 hours. Yeah. So as you mentioned, for me, I work best in the morning. So I like to start my work at 6 a.m. in Poland, and then I have maybe an hour break during the day, and I can finish my work around 3 p.m. Then I usually go for a walk and just have free time for my other things. But when I'm in Taiwan, and I'm going back there in January again, so it will be like 7 hours difference, I need to adjust my routine. And I can just finish my work at 3 p.m. because it's 8 a.m. in Poland. So many of my colleagues are just starting the day or sleeping. So it's just not possible to do it like this, because then 6 or 7 a.m. in Taiwan, it will be like 12 midnight here. So yeah, it's just not really possible. Like we not only have some meetings, but also I often need to ask for something, and so on and so on. So I still start my work early in Taiwan, maybe 7 a.m., a bit later, and then I have a longer break in the afternoon, so I can be back for 1 or 2 hours in a late afternoon on evening, and then I finish my work around maybe 1 p.m. or 12 Polish time, which is around 7 or 8 p.m. in Taiwan. So, of course, if we don't have any meetings later that day, because sometimes I had to turn on my computer at 9 p.m. in Taiwan. But from the other hand, like I don't want to influence like my schedule to influence others, because it's only me working from Taiwan, and then I don't want other people in our company to change the meeting time and so on. So I always like, okay, that's just one meeting per week, so that's okay. I can be there at 9 p.m.
Yeah, like that's another advantage of our work style, that we like communicate mostly in tasks in Nozbe Teams asynchronously.
Yeah, really.
So and yeah, we have only few meetings, and really like 9 p.m. It's like, okay, it's not perfect, but it's acceptable for a short period of time.
So just as I mentioned, when I start my day in Taipei, it's like my colleagues are sleeping probably, I guess. So if I have an urgent or not that urgent question, I must wait for them to wake up. But as you said, like of course we work mainly asynchronously, so we still can communicate in tasks. And just Michael mentioned it one time, that actually that's a pretty good thing, because he said he delegates me a task in the evening, and then because I have the time to finish it when he sleeps, so when he wakes up, the task is already there in incoming, right?
We can expect like many tasks from you in January in our incoming.
Yeah, sure.
Like when we wake up in the morning.
Yeah. So that's an advantage.
Yeah, that's like it's. I would say it's a catalyst for this. Working in different time zones can be a catalyst for like asynchronous communication, because it makes it even better, and feedback loops can be faster if it's well done. And also I imagine that you can respond to some our customers' emails that come from like similar time zones.
So one of the reasons why I still work in the evening, I mean when I'm in Taiwan, so I don't finish my work at 8 a.m. Polish time, it's also because of our customers. So like I don't want people, especially from Europe, to wait too long for the answer. So I even had an email like this from our Polish customer, and he was like, "Do you at Nozbe, right? Do you ever sleep? Like I see you work all the time." And yes, in customer support, like even if I'm not in Taiwan, we still have people working like this. I mean, there are some people working till late night just because it's their choice. It's not like Nozbe is telling you like you must work till midnight, but it's just their choice. And then we have people waking up really early. So yeah, even if I'm not in Taiwan, we are still there.
Yeah, so that's really cool. And how is working while all of the rest of the team is sleeping? So I imagine you can have really like get some stuff done that requires deep focused work, because we
Exactly.
don't bombard you
Exactly.
with new tasks in incoming.
That's right. And I don't feel this pressure because here in Poland, if I get a task, for example, in the morning, then I think like, oh, it's something I must finish today. And then I have like, what time is now? But in Taiwan, I could just wake up. Nobody is going to delegate tasks for me, or like during my deep focus time. So I don't feel this pressure that I must finish it now. I just have I just have time to finish it without any disturbing things. Yeah, sure. So exactly as you said.
Yeah, I can relate to this because like I think last year I adopted this method, like this weekly schedule called Weekend Wednesday. That means that in usual week I don't work on Wednesday, and instead of this I work on Saturday. And because of that, I do my weekly review on Saturday. Like I have my MightyFriday on Saturday, and it's so much easier to do it properly and to take more value from it when there is no other colleagues in our NoOffice environment. So
Yeah,
in task
but
we
that's
will be
funny,
all
right?
on Slack. Yeah,
We don't
that
have
is fun.
any office, but still it's like different when there is nobody there.
Yeah, like it's always hard to resist to don't check up on Nozbe Teams what's new in incoming in activity views, what new comments are there, and sometimes you really need to have this deep focused work to really resolve the problem, to find a solution we want to design this feature, to figure out what customers needs, or etc. All right, so let's move on. How was your Nozbe reunion for you? And because as we mentioned, you worked in Nozbe like for 6 years now.
Right.
6 years, and I think you have only been to 3 reunions, like
That's
in
right.
Wrocław, Poznan, no, in Wrocław, Stare
Wrocław.
Jabłonki,
And now
and now
Jastarnia.
in Jastarnia. Yeah.
That's actually not really funny, but we went back to Poland in 2019, and then the pandemic happened, and I missed we missed, I don't know, like 3 or 2 reunions, I don't know now. But anyway, like missed reunion just when I come back Poland, and I thought that
Yes.
I can now be on every reunion. Yeah, but before, because before my husband also, like he was not working from home, so he had to stay in Taipei. Especially because like in Poland we have over 20 days free every year, right? But in Taiwan they don't have that many. So usually
Whoa.
they have like 10 days. Yeah, and that's already a lot. So we just couldn't go back like this. Our schedule was not that flexible. So sometimes I couldn't go back to Poland for our Nozbe reunion. And as you know, like Taiwan is quite far away. So we have some people in Nozbe that are working like from Germany or Spain, but it is not that far away as Taiwan is. So yeah, I couldn't go back to Poland every year, but now as we are more flexible, I tried my best to adjust my plans, so I can be on Nozbe reunion. So as I mentioned, we are going back to Taiwan in January, but I asked about the reunion date before booking my flight, so I can be sure that
Yes,
I
we
don't
already
miss
planned it
it.
for the end of March.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So But I'm glad that we finally have more, like I can be on more Nozbe reunions, because still we don't have office, but it's important to meet each other, right? At least twice
Yeah,
a
like on the last day union, like 1 month ago, yeah, we could feel that we really missed each
yeah.
other.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So any any additional observations how changing places from Poland to Taiwan
Mhm.
to from Taiwan to Poland influence your work?
How it influenced my work? I would say, like, maybe for me it's not a big issue because Taiwan is not a foreign place for me anymore. I mean, it's like second home, right? So when I
Yeah.
fly back, I don't feel like on holiday. I don't feel like it's traveling to a foreign country. Just some people have this idea that you can, when you have no office, you can work and travel, and they have this
Yeah, like
very
workation.
yeah, workation, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I used to do it sometimes. Now I kind of do, because like
Hmm.
here we have some things to do in the garden for my family.
Oh,
So I
that's
try
interesting.
to do it during the day, when
Hmm.
because now in November, like, the day is very short, especially on daylight saving time. uh,
Right.
af- After the change of time, yeah. So I really like work for 2-3 hours in the morning, and then take a break and finish the
Hmm.
pack when after the sunset. So it's
Also, for you, it's not that hard to do it, right? Because I feel that for some people, it is a challenge because they may feel less focused, or because there's a new place and everything is so exciting. They feel maybe more like on holiday, and work like falls to the second place. But for you, it's not an issue, right?
yeah, like, again, this here I'm in my family's house, so it's kind of second home for me.
Hmm.
But still, when I used before the pandemic, when I used to do some workation, for example, we went to Cyprus for 2 weeks in winter, like, and it's always nice to have then like little break, like 4 hours, 4 or even 5 hours break during the day, to visit new places, explore
Hmm.
new places. Uh, and actually it can be very beneficial, because uh, the time, like, each day is different as you explore new place, so it doesn't feel like time is passing through your fingers. It's yeah, it actually can stimulate your creativity, but still it is challenging, because you have to be organized, and have work work out with those routines, and make sure that you communicate well with your team. And again, asynchronous communication through tasking Nozbe Teams is perfect for this. Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
uh,
But I just think that we have one person in our team that is now traveling and working at the same time already for a few weeks. And it's still okay. As you mentioned, like
yeah, like,
with Nozbe Teams, it's
actually
easy. Right?
we didn't notice a difference, and it resulted like,
Exactly.
yeah, I'm traveling for like a couple of months now.
I mean, you open a task and you see feedback, see the tasks are
Yeah.
done. I mean, that's all what matters, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That is true. The work is done, so
That's
yeah.
right. That's why we always like have this saying in Nozbe that, right, that work is just a thing that you do. So it's exactly like this.
Yeah. Okay, so
Oh, and I think because I when I started working in Nozbe, it was my first full-time job. So I can say like I've never worked in office ever. But for
yeah,
my husband, it was different because he started working from home only like in 2019. So I even asked him yesterday, like, how does he feel about this change? As somebody who experienced this transition from office to no office, and from the office like in Taiwan, it's also different than office in Poland. I mean, they work from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m., which is 9 hours, but with 1 hour break for lunch.
Still
But
a lot.
yeah.
Feels too much.
Yeah, and some people are like, yeah. So he was going out at 7:30 a.m. and going back home at 7 p.m. So for him, it was like whole day outside. So he thinks that for sure the biggest advantage of working from home was that he could adjust his schedule, which means that he does not have to be like when he feels like he's not focused enough, he can take a short break without anyone watching and thinking like, oh, he's lazy, why he's not working, right? And he can also work in the evening. So for him, it was for sure like it's now more productive than it was when he was working in the office.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think that if you are well organized and have this good routine and you know yourself when is the time that you are best focused, then you can really do in 4 or 5 hours much more than you used to do during 8 or 9 hours in the office.
That's for sure. Yeah, you just know when you are focused and don't have to force yourself to work when you feel that you're somewhere else, not here in the work, focus on work.
Yeah. All right. So I think we can slowly wrap up this episode. So Emilia, tell me, what day is tomorrow?
What day is tomorrow?
Yes. What day?
Tomorrow is a MightyFriday.
Yes, exactly. Friday. So make it MightyFriday, as Emilia said, because MightyFridays in Nozbe, we do our weekly review, we plan priorities for next week, so we can start next week already focused on our priorities and not looking for something to do. And we use the rest of the time on Friday to learn something new. But we probably use in the following weeks in work to deliver better results. So I encourage strongly to all of our listeners to do the same, to sell this idea to your boss. So Friday is for a weekly review, planning your priorities for next week and learning something new.
Yeah, and in Nozbe Teams, it's so easy to make a weekly review, right? You go through your activity, make sure there is nothing there incoming, then set your priorities, and everything is clear.
Yeah. Sure. So on Monday, you open your priority list in Nozbe Teams, and you just start with that.
Yeah, love it.
With those tasks. All right. So that was NoOffice podcast, and we had a great pleasure to hear from Emilia. So Emilia, say goodbye to our listeners in Chinese.
下次见吧.
This episode has not been created in the office because in Nozbe there is no office. Your hosts were Emilia Bolzaye and Rafał Sobolewski. All the links and show notes you can find on nooffice.fm/29. Sign up for a free account in Nozbe Teams and invite your team members to support us. Audio version and visual identification and video version produced by Marco Couto. Proofreading and marketing, Magda Błaszczyk. The whole production process of this episode has been coordinated in a project in Nozbe Teams app. Work is not a place to go. It is a thing that you do. Thank you and see you in 2 weeks. Remember to have a mighty Friday.
Don't cram 20 people on Zoom.
Fluorescent lighted office all day long. You probably are going to work from home.